I think we're going to say that Lucy sees her shadow and that we're going to have 6 more weeks of winter.
Pardon me? Lucy the lobster? What happened to the groundhog? This is a scene from Barrington, Nova Scotia, the 4th year that community has relied on a crustacean to tell us how many more weeks of winter are left. I've got to bring in Brett Ruskin right away. Brett Ruskin, who every year delights us with his Groundhog Day stories. What on earth is going? Lucy the lobster edging out Shubenacadie's Sam, Brett?
Heather, this is the big day, and Shubenacadie Sam is having, this lobster moving in on his turf from the surf. It is a dramatic scene in Nova Scotia the last couple of years in terms of Groundhog Day. So here is a story about these two animal predictors and what their decision was today. Have a look.
The seer is ready.
Groundhog Day for decades has meant a monopoly on provincial predictions for Shubenacadie Sam. But recently there's been a new Nova Scotian nemesis.
I wouldn't say nemesis.
Fine, they're actually friends. Lucy the lobster makes predictions from Barrington, Nova Scotia, the lobster capital of Canada.
We land over 23,000 tons of lobster in our season.
The 7-pound, roughly 50-year-old lobster was hauled ashore in a trap like this and has clawed her way to weather forecasting fame.
Our famous lobster for Nova Scotia Lobster Crawl.
The Lobster Crawl has been a program to entice tourists and locals to support the seafood industry during slow winter months. But Lucy also takes her predictions seriously.
Her and Sam have made the same predictions each year, so I think we're on a good roll. Lobster roll, that is.
So what does Sam think of all of this?
Lots of creatures have this amazing ability, so why not share the fun?
Texas has an armadillo. The Oklahoma City Zoo has grizzly bears. Pennsylvania has a dog dressed as a bear. There's also Buddy the bass and Scramble the duck. But Lucy is the only lobster. I was gonna say, does Lucy bite?
She does have a little bit of a bite, but we promise that she won't bite you. We've kept her bands on her claws.
That bite refers to 2018 when Sam tried to escape. I grabbed him, and like any startled wild animal would, he bit me.
Sam is sincerely apologetic. Did you have a safe visit with Lucy? I assume she's got some pinchers.
They literally told me they put extra rubber bands on her claws. So another Groundhog Day is upon us, with Lucy and Sam watching for their shadows and me watching my fingers. And so what is...
Okay, you go ahead and I'm jumping in. You go ahead first.
Yeah, it was the duck and the trumpet that got me. We have the answer, at least here on the East Coast, with both Sam, the groundhog, and Lucy, the lobster, agreeing. They both saw their shadow retreated back into their lobster cage as well as their hole, and it's going to be 6 more weeks of winter here. So they agree. So nobody's in hot water, at least here on the East Coast.
Oh,
as for Wyatt and Willie,
yes,
here in Ontario,
in Wyerton,
a different opinion. Early spring.
I am really glad you went there as far as Shubenacadie Sam, because I always love to bring up that moment on February 2nd. And I was a little concerned when you said you were going to go and talk to the prognosticating lobster, because those pinchers are, every bit as strong as the teeth. Now, what's the deal with moving into the other animals of the animal kingdom realm as prognosticators, Brett?
Yeah, I only had so much time to list the animals, but there were lots of other, lots of taxidermied groundhogs being used in North America, lots of groundhog puppets being used as well. In Wyoming, I just want to mention one, they used to use a prairie dog, so I'm fine there. It's pretty close to a groundhog, until they had to build a post office over the groundhog lair, their area where they lived, so they had to move. The town still wanted to host the event at that spot, though. So instead of a real groundhog, real prairie dog, they made a bronze sculpture 3 feet tall of a prairie dog, and that is what they are gathering around in Wyoming today, seeing if the statue sees its shadow today.
my. This
At
is
least statues
spiraled.
can't bite or pinch.
This has spiraled into the realm of nonsense, maybe, but it's good fun, and we need the little chuckle, don't we? Thank you, Brett. We always appreciate your Groundhog Day coverage.